All right, welcome. I believe we are live. Welcome. My name, Patrick Muley. I'm a life coach, health coach, transformational coach, personal trainer, and I work with guys who have gone through a divorce or breakup after a long-term relationship, and they're struggling with their health, struggling with just trying to get back to maybe a place that they haven't been in a long time, or even just getting healthy and getting in shape for the first time in their life. So this is my second Q&A, live Monday Q&A. So hopefully you were able to catch the last one last Monday. My goal today was to go live at noon. Last week I was a little bit late. Some of you tried to join me, but I was determined to show up on time today. And here we are at noon, working out some of the technical bugs as I go, but hopefully bringing some value today. And we will jump right in. Later on, I'll share some links to some resources. But for now, I just want to kind of jump in on the theme of the day, which is lifestyle changes for sustainable health. All right. And what does that look like? What are we referring to when we're talking about sustainable health, right? Well, it's not putting a band-aid on things, right? So for you divorce guys out there, you've been through the storm, right? And now it's time to rebuild, right? It's this this week's live Q&A. We're going to talk about lifestyle change for sustainable health, okay, with a focus on simple strategies that create massive shifts in how you feel, how you move, and how you show up for yourself. Whether it's stress, sleep, alcohol, time, habits, this is your reset button. Okay, so let's make it count. All right. The difference between sustainable and quick fix, right? And we could do a whole session on this at some point. I'm sure I will. But we're talking about quick fixes which seem in the short term to reduce stress or take the steam off. I hear a lot of guys saying, I just got to release some steam, right? But we put band-aids on some of these things. And some of these unhealthy ways to do that is maybe we consume alcohol, overly consume alcohol. It could be drugs, could be TV, social media, entertainment, numbing out, video games, gambling, could be anything, right? But I wouldn't even consider these quick fixes. They're more like, destructive ways of trying to alleviate stress, but really just have a diminishing effect to them, right? What we're talking about, and even if you're trying to do some quick fix things, like maybe you're trying to do a crash diet, right? You found some diet program on the internet. Could be carnivore, could be keto, could be whatever. All right, that's forces you to like cut a lot of things out, right? And for to sort of take that, make you feel deprived, right? Because you're removing all these things. It's saying 100% you got to take this out, take that out, and then you just feel completely like deprived and kind of caged, right? It's not really the right approach that you want to take, right? It's not sustainable for the long term. I mean, anybody could grind out a month or two or three of depriving themselves of things, but there is a rebound effect to that, right? So what we want to do is we want to create sustainable habit change. Okay, when I mean sustainable, I'm talking about putting things in place that you can actually come to enjoy. Maybe they're a little painful at first. That's fine. There's always a transition period. But the idea is that anything sustainable is going to be something that you can do for the rest of your life. And that's what we want to put in place. You're not going to stay on a diet that you don't enjoy just for the sake of losing weight and looking good, right? You have to eventually get to a place where you're enjoying what you're consuming, right? As far as exercise go, you have to enjoy the things you're doing to an extent, right? Yeah, they might be a little painful if you're in the gym or whatever, or working out somewhere else, or riding a bike or hiking or whatever it is. But movement is movement, and we eventually, what we want to get towards or work towards is a place where you're enjoying the physical activity you're doing, you're enjoying the foods you're eating, right? Crowding out some of the old stuff, of course, but we focus on adding in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But sustainability is all about creating a life of things that you actually enjoy doing, replacing some of the old destructive habits that you had. So that's what we're working towards. And the good news is that you don't have to do this overnight. You don't have to have this like 30, 60, 90, even 90-day mentality where it's got to all get done in this certain time frame. And then you can go back to living the way you were, right? Which got you to the unhealthy place in the first place. So, what we want to do is create new lifestyle habits and change that are sustainable and that you can carry with you. And at some point, not even miss that old version of yourself. And that's the goal, right? So this is a Q&A, and I just want to remind everybody that this is not a deep dive into all these tips and the advice I'm going to give you. This is more of like I'm answering some questions that are common questions that I get based on this week's theme. And I'm going to go over about 4 or 5 of them and just go through some quick tips and things like that. And certainly if you want to dive deeper, I am here. That's what I do. I have a great coaching program and that goes really deeper and deep dives into all this stuff. But right now I want to give you as much value to take away and hopefully get some quick wins and use some of these tips, and prioritize them however you can fit them in. And we'll talk about that. So first thing I want to go over is, okay, here's a question. We're going to jump right in it. Okay. Answer some of this. How do I manage constant stress without feeling like I'm just putting a Band-Aid on a deeper problem? It's a great question. I get that all the time. So I got a few tips here and I'm just going to go through them quickly. Some of the things you can do managing stress is huge, is breathing, right? It's free. That's the good news. In breathing, you can do, deep breathing throughout the day, literally 3 to 5 minutes. You don't have to breathe and meditate necessarily for a half an hour when you're stressed out. I mean, literally just a few minutes of breathing in, holding, and breathing out can be all the difference between just resetting your parasympathetic nervous system and get rid of that fight or flight feeling and just kind of calm yourself down. You can do this anytime you're stressed out in traffic. Somebody triggered you by saying the wrong thing, or you just frustrated, things aren't working. You can do this throughout the day, and literally it takes 3 minutes. So I highly recommend diving into some deep breathing. Obviously, this is an obvious one, engage in regular physical activity. And I'm not talking about necessarily having to go in the gym and killing it and crushing it, and militant exercise and stuff. Literally, I recommend, if you're not doing this at all now, starting with just a brisk walk. It could be 15, 20 minutes outside, not in a treadmill inside. Get out in nature. It's huge. Huge reset. Makes you feel so much better. Fresh oxygen is so good for you. Highly recommend that. And you can fit that in. I mean, set your alarm for 15, 20 minutes earlier. Get up. It's nice out. Go for a walk if you can. Set boundaries to protect your time. We're bombarded, right? We're bombarded with emails, with texts, with all kinds of notifications and such. And we live in a world where we want to react to everything right now, right? But we want to let go of that need to react, okay? And we want to start responding to things, right? So time blocking, right? That kind of feeds into time blocking, but set boundaries to protect your time so that maybe people that are really monopolizing some of your time learn to respect that, you have some things going on and set those boundaries, because we let a lot of other things control what we do. And that can kind of get out of hand sometimes. Journaling your thoughts and your stress triggers. You don't have to write these down to like figure everything out. But the thing of it is you want to start with at least acknowledging the things that stress you, so you're aware of them. Sometimes we're not even aware. We're just in reaction mode, right? There's literally no space in between stimulus and response. And that's what we want to create. We want to create a little gap. I struggle with this too. Listen, everything that I'm bringing up to you right now that I'm giving a technique I've struggled with at one point. Some things I've overcome, some things I'm still working on. So we're all human. And so know that I'm coming from a place of having been there and still going through some of this stuff myself. I'm not perfect by any means, but these are some of the things that I try to work on and practice to get better so I can become that better version of myself. So journaling your thoughts, knowing what stresses you out so that you literally write them down, and you can simply just notice them and go, okay, this is a situation that stresses me out. Maybe it's a coworker that just gets under your skin, right? And you snap back at them, and you want to handle that a little bit better, right? So we're try to figure out, okay, give yourself a pause, give yourself a 5-second pause and figure out what you can do or how you can look at that situation a little bit differently, so that you don't react and you have maybe a more empathetic or gracious response. Okay, that's one thing I highly recommend working on. And always seek support. Again, I'm here. I'm a coach. This is what I do. I can certainly help you, or find a coach that resonates with you, that can help you through this and come up with some solid strategies around this and help with accountability. That's huge. So moving on to question 2. Why am I still tired after a full night's sleep? And what can I do to actually feel rested again? So this is huge. A few things I want to just mention here is creating a consistent sleep schedule. Oftentimes, when we're working, we have one schedule. When it's the weekends or the days we're off, we have a different schedule. And I understand sleeping in some time. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you need to catch up on rest. But trying to keep to a similar sleep pattern and sleep schedule is really important, because our bodies want to be in a rhythm, right? They like consistency, and it likes routine. So trying to keep that going will help with our what they call circadian rhythms, where you get better. You'll start to fall into better deep sleep. You'll fall asleep easier, wake up feeling a little bit more refreshed when it's more consistent. When you're one day you're going to bed at 9 and one day you're going to bed at midnight or 1, it kind of throws your rhythm off. So try to work on that, even on weekends and days off. Try to keep that consistent. Eliminating screen time at least 60 minutes before bed. The blue light from your screens, just the stimulation from scrolling and all that, it just stimulates the brain a lot. It's kind of almost like digital caffeine, so try to eliminate that and find another way to kind of relax and unwind at the end of the night. Again, that feeds into avoid caffeine and alcohol late in the day. There's stimulants and kind of get your brain going, get your heart going, and we don't want that right beforehand. Even me, like I used to work out late at night and sometimes have a hard time falling asleep if you're trying to work out too close to when you're going to bed, because you're all revved up, So that time is really important. Keep your bedroom cool, dark and quiet if you can. Cooler temperatures help moderate our sleep and get into a deeper sleep as well. And then again, wind down with a nighttime routine. This is something we create in my coaching program. We go over a whole morning routine, night routine, and creating that so you can get some consistency and use that as a form of routine and balance. Reading, stretching, anything. Reading's great. I mean, you ever read when you're at night and then you get tired as you're reading? I mean, it's a great way to naturally fall asleep without getting that stimulation to your brain. Meditating is always a good thing, and using that as a means to relax. So these are some ways that you can do that, and we do dive deeper in my program of these ways to mitigate sleep and rest and recovery. It's huge for us. We talked a little bit about, let's see, is my drinking affecting my energy, focus, mood more than I think it is? Yeah. Sometimes it's really important to kind of take an honest look at how much you're consuming throughout the week. It can be really easy to get caught up in that lifestyle of going to grab a drink. It's only one drink and 1 or 2 drinks I'm grabbing after work. If you're doing that multiple times a day, not only is it kind of destructive from a health intake. I mean, alcohol is technically a poison. I get it. People use it to unwind. Wine isn't so bad. Hard alcohol, bourbon, I see a lot of people doing that and drinking that nowadays. And, it gets to the point where it's normal, right? Where you maybe you can consume 2 or 3 cocktails and not even really feel it, right? So you don't even really know how to contrast that with like feeling really good or finding a way to alleviate that stress without having to consume a substance to alleviate the stress. Again, diminishing return on that. So we want to try to find as healthy ways to um, curb that and healthy ways to deal with that stress management. Um, but also, so we're talking about replacing that with healthier coping mechanisms, right? So this plays into kind of question number one, just going a little bit deeper into this. We're not talking about giving up alcohol totally. I'm not a big drinker. I used to be. I used to, maybe have a beer or two, during the week, and then hit it harder on the weekends and stuff. And I just realized at some point that it really wasn't sustainable. I started to not feel that great. This catches up for you guys out there that are like in your even late 20s, sometimes 30s, definitely 40s. I mean, if you haven't started feeling it already, you're going to feel it soon. So I really highly recommend just kind of being really honest with that. I mean, a couple drinks a week, maybe, fine. For me, I have maybe half a dozen drinks a year, and that's a lot for me. Not asking you to do that, but just take an honest look and just give yourself an opportunity to maybe try on dialing it down a little bit and notice the difference. Let the results speak for themselves. If you start feeling better, well, you might decide, oh, this is my new baseline. I'm going to cut it down to this. And then you might get used to that. And you might say, I might trim it down a little bit more. And it all really depends on how good you want to feel. But I guarantee you, the less you drink, the better you are going to feel. There's no doubt about it. So enough on that. Moving forward to another question. It's really important. Again, this goes into the time blocking thing and time management, and protecting your time with boundaries. How can I take care of myself when it feels like there's never enough time in the day? I mean, even for me, sometimes, honestly, feels like there's never enough time to get everything done. And this is an ongoing battle for me, especially trying to, build my coaching business and build my business online. I mean, time management becomes super important. So, using time blocking, just scheduling blocks of time to do things, big or small, whatever you have, take a look at your day, map out your main obligations and, work around that. So if you have a full-time job, you're trying to do a side hustle, or you're trying to meal prep or go to the gym or any of these things, like time block that ahead of time. Don't ever wake up without a plan. That's what I always say. You always want to plan the next day, the night before. So you wake up with intention. So you want to also eliminate unnecessary tasks or distractions. So if there's things that are popping up all over the place and aren't really 100% necessary, it's just busy work and distractions, especially, again, social media, TV, all that, we can get sucked in really quickly and waste a lot of time. And I think if you are really honest with yourself, and I've been there, really kind of looking at your screen time, because you could take 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, even 15, 20 minutes to watch a video or just scroll. The next thing you know, a couple hours are wasted of the day, and you could have used that to do something really productive. So again, plan your week ahead of time. Take a day to plan your week on the general things that you want to get done, the major tasks and major goals, and then break that down every night. Just say, okay, these are the most important things that I have to get done tomorrow, and wake up with an intention. Well, you might not get everything done all the time. I certainly don't. Sometimes I get a little overzealous and plan a little bit too much and it falls through, but then you learn how to cut back and tweak and go, okay, I can handle this. I can do this task. I can fit that in and get it done. Every time you show up for yourself and you actually get it done, you're building that muscle and that confidence that you can do it, right? Versus stack your plate with a bunch of stuff. Half the time you get it done, half the time you don't, and then you feel like you're unaccomplished. So don't bite off more than you can chew, but certainly plan your days ahead of time. All right. Last question. Why do I always fall off track And how can I finally build habits that actually stick? Well, first off, a shameless plug, you can grab my habit guide, which I will link to down here a little bit later. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to put it up there right now. Let's see. Learning how to use this technology, so bear with me. But you can get my free habit guide here. All right. Fancy little QR code up here. So if you're watching this live, take a screenshot. You're watching the replay, pause the video, take a screenshot. You can grab that right there. And I'm going to switch back off. It's a great jump start for getting some solid habits in place and getting your mindset around what habits look like and how to form them the right way or the wrong way. So I'm not going to go in a lot of detail about the guide itself, but I really encourage you to download that. It's absolutely free, and love to hear your feedback on that. So a couple little things from that guide, just really little tidbits, is starting with small manageable changes. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It doesn't take much. You don't need to have a whole half a day scheduled to do something to do it, because most of the time it's too much. You're going to get overwhelmed and it's not going to happen. Also trying to find anchors for new habits. So things in your environment that remind you of the direction you're trying to move in, right? Could be a picture of someone that you love that you're really trying to maybe get healthy for, or you care about, that there is a constant reminder. Maybe it's Post-it notes all over your house, whatever it may be. Little anchors that help you stay on track. Again, daily intentions is huge. Waking up with an intention. Reward consistency and not perfection. This is huge. Like, as long as you're showing up doing something, right, and you're consistent at that, you could, like I said, you could do some. I'd rather see you do something for 10 minutes a day for 7 days straight than wait and one day spend 2 hours doing something. That consistency is going to build the muscle. I mean, you wouldn't do that at the gym, right? You wouldn't go to the gym once a week and do 12 sets of every muscle group. It just doesn't work, right? You'll end up burning out. So it's little bits consistently is what we want to do. All right. And lastly, expect setbacks. This is a huge thing that I see out there, where people receive a set, they see a setback, right? Something happens, they fall off, they make a mistake, they don't show up for themselves. And what happens? Okay, maybe I'm going to give an example. Like, you start off on Monday, right, with the best intentions for the week, right? And by maybe Wednesday, you ate that piece of chocolate, or you ate that dessert, or you didn't go to the gym, and now you're feeling down on yourself. And then what I see people do all the time is, I'm just going to start up next Monday. Boom. So now you have Thursday through Monday, just kind of letting it all out, right? Letting it all hang out, not staying on track. You're off track. You're just going to eat whatever you want, do whatever you want, because you have this future date in mind, right? This is a dangerous cycle to get in, right? What we really want to see you do is get right back on the bike, right? Like, if you fell off your bike as you're learning as a kid, you get back on the bike right away and you start riding it, unless you're really injured. But if you're not, you get back up and you keep pedaling right away. You don't necessarily walk your bike home and say, okay, I'm going to get back on my bike on Monday. So really try to develop that mentality. Okay, I wasn't perfect. I didn't show up great today, but you know what? You could start tomorrow, or you can even start the next hour. But start as soon as you can. Get right back on the bike and keep going. Don't give up, because we don't want to get into that cycle of stopping, starting. Okay, doesn't help. So, anyways, that's it for today's Q&A. I hope you got some value out of it. I hope maybe some of these questions you've had yourself and you shed some light. Again, we're not going deep diving into each of these tips and everything. We do that in my one-on-one coaching program, which I would love to have a conversation around with you. If you are interested and you're in a place where you want to learn more about that, you can certainly find that. I'm going to put this right up here for you. You can find some more information, get that from my website, f3healthcoach.com. Please check that out. I'll put a link underneath the video when this posts. So if you don't have the means of grabbing that right now, that's fine, no big deal. But I will post that later. Also, I'll post a link to my habit guide. And let's see, what else do we have? The other thing is, guys, I have a new free Facebook group, okay, for divorced men or guys who are out of a breakup looking to get healthy. It's free group. It's a private group that I created so that you guys can have a place of to build camaraderie, to get support, get your questions answered by me. I will be in that group a lot, posting, giving you as much value as I can, answering questions that you might have in real time. So I encourage you to jump into that if you can. Here, again, I'm fumbling around with technology here. I'm getting used to this. Hopefully I'll get better at this as we go. But grab my there it is. Grab that QR code. Go to that. That's how you go to join the free Facebook group, and hopefully you'll do that. And hopefully I will see you there. And if you know anybody, of course, who could use this, I highly, I can only hope that you share this information with them, share this live, and reach out to me if you need anything. But that's it for the day. And hope you guys got some value out of this. And we will see you next week, Monday. Check out my page. I will be posting the theme. And if you have any questions, certainly submit them on my main Facebook page, or if you join the group, submit it there, or DM me any questions. Multiple ways to get in touch with me through my website, email, and hopefully we'll build this up and build some more value and get a community going. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.